Howdy everybody, I'm Jake.
And I'm Marlin.
aka Gee. And following up our last honest trailer reaction, and with the new John Wick film coming out, we're going to react to the 2021 honest trailer that did both Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, Parabellum, in the John Wick franchise. And before we start, I enjoyed Chapter 2. It did something a bit different. It upped the stakes a little bit. I did have a fun time with Chapter 3, and I'll get into it a little more later, but I can kind of tell this series is starting to stretch out a little bit. Just, you wonder how much longer can they keep going. And I am looking forward to Part 4, see if they still keep the fun, or if they finally, I don't know, jump the shark. What did you think of 2 and 3?
I like 2 and 3, and the same as you. I always kind of worried about how are you can. John Wick was for an action. It was an action film. It was groundbreaking as far as the form of combat and so on and so forth. So, and that's what really intrigued me about it. And I didn't get tired of watching it. Now, what are they going to do with this? What are you going to do with this? But as you said, things got a little more complicated. Things get stretched out. And then on 3, they went overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And they stretched it out some more.
They went overseas and up the fucking desert hills.
And what would be the right word to say? They would increase the variations on his combat style. Very interesting.
Indeed. And without further ado, let's watch the honest trailer and see what these boys do now. Demands.
Before you see John Wick with extremely sad dad energy, revisit the sequels about a man with Karen hair killing anyone who gets between him and the manager.
I seek a meeting with the one who sits above the table.
John Wick 2 and John Wick 3 Parabellum. One of these titles is not like the others. You remember John Wick 1, when a gangster killed John Wick's dog, so he very understandably murdered everyone. Now, in John Wick 2, he'll kill just as many goons to retrieve his old Mustang that's worth like $50K tops. And in John Wick 3, he'll kill so many people for such vague reasons, you'll start to wonder if vengeance-fueled murder sprees aren't just his very specific fetish.
I think you're addicted to it, to the vengeance.
See? Mafia guy gets it. That dead dog was just the excuse he was waiting for. Sorry. Experience Keanu Reeves just as kick-ass and monotone as he was 20 years ago.
What do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
Whoa.
As he plays the role of John Wick,
I got
well
to
into his
make me do
50s, and somehow gets better at fighting and shooting along the way.
Up the combat.
Rejoin this legendary assassin, whose name is still a laxative for criminals.
It's not just a car. It is John Wick's car.
Gourmet.
Oh.
But 3 movies in, he's starting to maybe get a little too powerful, taking out every assassin in New York in a row while injured, having him straight up teleport once in a while. And giving him some kind of immunity to being run over by cars. I mean, come on, I know Keanu's great and all, but the same thing took out Brad Pitt in his prime. Don't bother watching the rest of Meet Joe Black. This is the only good part. Go deeper into the secret world of assassins and criminals that lurks just under the surface to discover that it's pretty boring and barely makes sense. Featuring their own silly cryptocurrencies.
This coin, it does not represent a monetary value. It represents the commerce of relationships.
You hand me your ticket, I will tear it.
For a man to grant a market to another is Lodov.
Extreme amounts of table matters.
The ticket does not stand above the table.
The high table wants your life.
I had to follow the rules of the table.
Alley.
High table.
The high table.
High table.
Under the 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 table. Serving the table. Everything is under the table.
And the same kind
Sounds
of
like a
rules you
blowjob
make up playing
metaphor.
freeze tag at recess. Safe, yeah, you can't kill me. But this whole parallel society of killers and criminals manages to stay underground thanks to the continued silence of everyone in New York.
Now,
I think everybody in the world's a criminal.
Can you even say they're part of the underworld? Seems like it's just the world at this point. I mean, even the homeless are a highly trained network of super spies. No one can get between John Wick and his mission, but that won't stop an army of dumb schmucks from trying. As he'll fight through a rogue's gallery of ethnic stereotypes, guys who literally bring a knife to a gunfight, and his fellow super assassins, who without exception approach John Wick from the front, out in the open, for a little chit-chat before the fight.
It's good to have you back.
you working?
Yeah.
Common.
You sure this is what you want to do? 14 million, it's a lot of money.
Salamat naman.
Look, I'm not a trained killer or anything, but just a thought. Don't. So enjoy this franchise that loves guns so much, you'll swear they're competing for something.
I need something robust.
Robust.
Anything for the end of the night. Something big, bold.
Good tribute to
That feels
Tuco.
like it hates humanity about as much as it loves animals.
Good dog.
Gonna kiss
But
him?
as long as people are willing to pay to watch Keanu put his health and safety on the line for our entertainment, they'll keep ending these things with unapologetic sequel bait, even if he literally has to be wheeled into his next fight. Who's got more left in the tank, Keanu or Cruz? My money's on Tom. Little guy freaks me out.
He's starting to go along in the tooth.
Starring The Wicker Man. Never sneak up on a man who's been in a chemical fire. Ruby Rose. Oh, we're using our porn names. Then I am Dax Slamhammer. Orpheus.
You see rats with wings, but I see the internet.
I used to love him. Surrey. National Basketball Assassination. Dog Woman. Alec Cuisine. Also starring headshots like the regretful headshot, the almost forgot headshot, the spinning headshot, behind the back headshots, the Halle Berry, the come on in, the intimate standing headshot, the K9er, the put him out of his misery headshot, underwater headshot, the now you see me headshot, the grab and go headshot, the John Wikipedia,
Okay, that's good.
the throat slash plus headshot combo platter, the dazed and confused, the ain't anywhere near the headshot, the mercy kill headshot, the chin shot, the
Creative.
Wild West, the lit the lid, the blatant overkill, the exploder, the exploder chunky style, and who even needs a gun headshot. John Wick Chapter 2 and John Wick 3, Lorem Ipsum. Okay, is every killer for hire in New York on the same group text? Unsubscribe. Happy anniversary to the Goodmans. Lizard beats monkey, robot beats lizard, monkey beats robot. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. The pretzels are hurting my eyebrows. Beetlejuice 3 times.
I don't know why that warranty line just kind of gets me.
Yes.
That was a pretty cool combo trailer of the John Wick sequels.
Yes, and I really enjoyed the long-lasting naming of the headshots. That was very...
It's been a while since I've seen them, but the chin shot is probably the most creative.
I like.
And at the end, who even needs a gun? Chop.
Yes. Flying axe shot.
You'd have the perfect head if this were axe-wielding slasher movie.
You know where the target is.
And, yeah, a lot of funny bits. Karen hair. And, see, they do a good job of dissecting. Yeah, I mean, the first sequel I thought was still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It had a creative plot. The ending was a little surprising, where we saw everybody just freeze and then walk. But it was kind of cool when we got to number 3, where it just seems like everybody in the world is connected to these criminals somehow. I don't know about you, but I'm like, I think they're making this this criminal empire a little too big.
It is a big criminal empire, and it's supposed to be revealing to us what kind of an awful world we live in. And only John Wick can stand up against it.
Okay, Roger Ebert. I'm just saying, in the first film, they kept it as mostly kind of the real world, but you got this group, and now they're implying everybody in the world is in on it somehow. And I'm like, okay, how much bigger could they make this with number 4? I am interested to see it. I want to have a good time. Just, I read that they're considering a number 5, and I'm like, if you do a 5th one, please let that be the last one, because there's only so many cliffhangers you can do before Keanu, like, he is going to age eventually.
True that, and I think it's just going to depend on what the gross is on 4.
Agreed. They're fun, but as those headshots show, this series is starting to get a little repetitive at times.
Well, when you collage them like that, it's a little repetitive, but they nicely string them out through the entire movie.
My favorite of the funny names, again, for Ian McShane, never sneak up on a man who's been in a chemical fire. That's a reference to a movie he did called Hot Rod, where he's fighting with his stepson. Like, his stepson calls out to him, and then he just throws a exercise ball, I think, into him, and he's like, never sneak up on a man who's been in a chemical fire. And even though it's admittedly a little cheap, I liked how he called Lawrence Fishburne Porpheus.
Yes. The fish has been enjoying the good life.
And he is in number 4. Let's see, I looked up who the cast is going to be. Keanu's back, Lawrence Fishburne's back, Ian McShane and Lance Reddick. He plays the number 2 guy at the Continental.
Okay.
They're back, and if we're going off of how number 3 ended, they're not buddies of John Wick anymore. But they got a whole new selection of names here. Bill Skarsgård, Shamir Anderson, Scott Adkins. He was in The Expendables 2. He's done a bunch of stuff. And showing that they continue to bring old royalty. Clancy Brown.
Really?
They're bringing the fucking Kurgan into the franchise.
They should give him a big curved sword.
And I'll say, number 3, some parts I really like are seeing him ride that horse around.
Shooting.
Yeah. And Halle Berry, I do agree, she just kind of came and went, but it was cool to see her do some of the action with Keanu.
Yeah, she's a fit person, so she could do that.
One thing I'm a little disappointed on is there's no word on Common. He was the bodyguard to the woman he killed in number 2. He hasn't come back since the second, which is a little disappointing because in the second one it was implied he would live, Hill. I haven't seen him, and I'd like to see a follow-up.
Maybe he's in a home.
Well, Knife to the Heart could very well be. And,
This was funny, the
Joe Black clip.
because I have never seen the beginning of Joe Black, to see this thing, and that is amazing what they did with that body.
And, also, just the last thing I'll say, I think, Peter Stormare as the Russian at the beginning of number 2. Kind of a weird, it was like it was meant to give closure to whatever they had from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But he always plays a good Euro villain. Either that or a guy who never talks, as we saw in Fargo.
Yes, yes.
When asked in an interview how he came to be playing so many villains, he said, well, they decided it wasn't politically correct to have anybody of dark skin be a bad guy, so they were like, who's white we can use? Oh, I know, Russians.
Yes.
Like the Matrix sequels, because I think this is an interesting parallel. They seem to be going bigger, and hopefully, even though it's directed by a guy who worked on the Matrix, it seems like hopefully they don't get as far up their ass as the Matrix sequels did, because as they played in the clip from the first Honest trailer, those movies could just go off the rails in terms of what the hell is going on.
Yeah, and especially even after the first movie, what is going on? Really? All kinds of fans were writing theories about what was going on, and they kept on doing that. And that must have been an easy way to write a script, because you could do what you want and say whatever you want, and somebody would make up a theory to back it up for you. And so obviously I'm not a Matrix believer here.
I like the first one. I just couldn't get into the sequels, and I didn't see the new one because I frankly have better stuff to do with my time. Anyway, before we go off on a whole different series, I enjoy Keanu Reeves as John Wick. He showed that he could still carry a movie, and a lot of people like to joke that he's a bad actor, but no, I don't think he's a bad actor at all. I just think the Wachowskis fucked him up for many years with their direction of the Matrix sequels, and here's hoping that they don't jump the shark with number 4, and they know when to let a good series die eventually.
Keanu Reeves is John Wick. You believe it, he is perfect for the role. Let's put it this way, he made the role perfect for him. He's very good.
Fucking A. See you later, everybody.
Later.